In 2006, the French literary world, long dormant, suddenly erupted with the arrival of a book. 2 years, 2 million copies sold. 30 consecutive weeks on the bestseller list. Reprinted 50 times. Recipient of 3 awards, both domestic and international. This book turned an unknown author into a worldwide sensation. The magazine Le Parisien hailed it as the novel of the nation. And this masterpiece is none other than The Elegance of the Hedgehog, written by Muriel Barbary. After the book became a phenomenon, the author herself was astonished at how deeply readers loved it. The reason? Its story, at first glance, hardly seemed elegant at all. The protagonist, Renée, is a 54-year-old middle-aged woman. She is unattractive, slightly hunchbacked, and often appears fierce, like a wicked witch from a fairy tale. She has no family by her side, living her daily life as a concierge at an upscale Parisian apartment building. Another character is Paloma, a 12-year-old girl born into a wealthy family, but plagued by thoughts of ending her life. One is lowly, the other, privileged. One is a working-class caretaker, the other, an affluent young lady. Though their worlds seem to have no intersection, a profound connection ties them together. A story like this isn't necessarily beautiful, but it captures the struggles and existential uncertainty of modern life in a deeply moving way. How, in this lifetime, can we live gracefully and confront loss with calm and poise? How can we be reborn amidst loneliness? Murakami Haruki once said, "Growing up is about fighting, hurting, getting lost, losing, and being lonely. But still, we must go on." It seems we are all living like hedgehogs, bristling with sharp quills to protect our soft and solitary hearts. And as we journey through the second half of life, we might discover that true freedom in living begins when we learn to embrace solitude. A warm greeting to all of you. Welcome to RISEUP, a channel sharing knowledge for comprehensive self-development through great books. This week, I'm sharing a reflection titled, "Every Lonely Soul Holds an Elegance Within," inspired by the renowned novel, The Elegance of the Hedgehog. Let's explore it together. On the path of life, everyone is a lonely traveler. Renée has worked as a concierge for 27 years at an upscale apartment building. The residents there are society's elite, people of status and intellect. The sole anomaly in this refined space is Renée herself, neither elegant nor wealthy, with a plain appearance and a life crushed by poverty. From childhood, she has always been out of place. At school, she was ostracized by classmates and looked down upon by teachers. As an adult, her desperate marriage to an older man earned her disdain from her family. Eventually, she followed her husband to work as a concierge, living in a cramped room like a mouse in a hole. When her husband passed away after a long illness, Renée was left alone, enduring decades of solitude in the shadows. Every day, she sat hunched at the gate, watching people come and go with a vacant gaze, like a dusty, outdated ornament forgotten in the corner. No one greeted her. Some residents lived there for 15 years without even noticing her existence. In contrast to Renée's impoverished life, another peculiar soul inhabits the building, Paloma. Paloma's family is enviable. Her father is on the verge of becoming a member of parliament, her mother holds a PhD, and her sister graduated with honors. But beneath this facade of perfection are countless cracks. Her mother enjoys quoting famous lines at dinner, even when she doesn't understand their meaning. Her sister is insufferably arrogant. Her father is rigid, cold, and cowardly. Paloma herself is incredibly intelligent, bordering on genius. At school, she's seen as an oddity, her unique philosophical musings alienating her from peers. In her dreams, Paloma yearns for a friend to play with, but reality doesn't grant her one. She is profoundly lonely. Linguist Li Jianlin once said, "On the road of life, everyone is a lonely traveler. Regardless of who you are, if you stand out, you are less likely to be accepted. But is the problem within us, or is it simply that others cannot understand us?" No one can wear your shoes, walk your path, or experience your joys and sorrows for you. Absolute empathy is rare in this world because each person's fate, thoughts, and worldview are distinct, creating an insurmountable distance. As philosopher Carl Jung put it, each of us is an island in the sea. To develop oneself, one must confront solitude. The more unique you are, the fewer companions you'll have. The more extraordinary you are, the more likely you are to be left behind. And so, as the ancients said, life's rule is birth and death in solitude. There is no eternal companion. Parents, once seen as omnipotent superheroes, now have hair flecked with gray. Every year we grow older, we inch closer to the day of parting with them. Childhood friends, once constant companions, now hesitate even to send a text for fear of bothering us. As we age, the rarity of someone who will truly walk alongside us becomes painfully clear. Life feels like a rehearsal for goodbyes. We bid others farewell, and others will do the same for us. Social media friend lists grow longer, but genuine connections become rarer. We endure illness alone, face work frustrations with no one to confide in. In countless moments, a tidal wave of loneliness crashes in, threatening to swallow us whole. But we must remember, loneliness is the natural state of life. As Zhuangzi said, one comes alone and leaves alone. To live with oneself is life's essence. Festivities belong to others. Solitude is our true freedom. Facing loneliness. Bristle like a hedgehog or dance alongside it, Renee. Short, plump, uneducated, leaves quietly with her cat. Every day is a repetitive monotony of cleaning, delivering mail, and occasionally helping others sweep their apartments or take out the trash. In a luxurious residence, Renee's lowly status seems incompatible with a life of elegance, like that of the upper-class ladies. To outsiders, her life appears utterly dull, spent in front of a TV, watching nonsense. Yet behind closed doors, it's an entirely different world. Renee takes a piece of dark chocolate, savors it while sipping tea and reading a book. Her small, impoverished apartment has just one room with a door, but that room isn't for sleeping. Renee sleeps on a folding chair outside and uses the room as a library, lined with books. Despite her poverty, she has built a personal sanctuary of knowledge. She's like a hedgehog hiding her true self, only showing the world what it expects to see. After all, people believe that a concierge should behave a certain way. By masking herself, pretending to be ignorant, indifferent, and avoiding unnecessary interactions, Renee finds freedom to live authentically and avoid unnecessary trouble. No one would guess that behind the noise of her blaring TV lies a peaceful world of books, a space where an elegant and profound soul roams freely. Renee wanders through her small universe, relishing solitude, freedom, and contentment. But not everyone can live in such isolation. Take Paloma, for instance. For her, loneliness is a mortal enemy to be fought at all costs. She tries discussing philosophy with her sister but is mocked for being strange. She yearns to bond with her family, but is disgusted by their vanity as they boast about trivial things. Shopping with her mother, she sees a queue of wealthy women clamoring for discounted luxury goods and finds them foolish and superficial. She attempts to befriend classmates, but ends up with no real connections. Rejected, Paloma becomes loneliness' fiercest foe. Inside this young girl lies a delicate, sensitive perception of the world, tempered by a child's bluntness and mischief. She has already discerned the futility of upper-class life and her own fate. I can already see my entire future, trapped in a fishbowl with adults flitting like flies against the glass, buzzing back and forth. Behind the luxury and refinement, she sees absurdity. Disillusioned with life, Paloma resolves to take her own life and burn down her parents' apartment on her 13th birthday. Renee and Paloma, two lonely souls adrift in a crowd, yet walking completely opposite paths. One heals through solitude, while the other is driven to despair by it. As Nietzsche said, those who can endure solitude are either beasts or gods. Faced with loneliness, some place the entirety of life's meaning in others, only to suffer when the outside world fails to meet their expectations. Others find contentment within their circumstances. Even in total disregard by the world, they thrive in their own remarkable way. Resisting loneliness, fearing it, seeking external validation can lead only to madness and despair. Conversely, by embracing loneliness, one transforms it into armor against life's storms. Those who can dance with solitude exude a quiet elegance. One day, a new tenant moves into the building next door to Paloma. Takuo, a sophisticated 60-year-old Japanese man, is astonished when Renee casually remarks, "All unhappy families are unhappy in their own way." He never expected such words from an old, unattractive concierge. Intrigued, he seeks her company. They dine together, attend concerts, and visit art exhibits. Touched by Takuo's respect and genuine regard for all people, Renee begins to let him in. Hearing her insights on literature, music, and art, and witnessing her quiet rituals of tea and contemplation, Takuo declares, "You are as regal as a queen." Seeing the treasure within her, Takuo encourages Paloma to befriend Renee. During one accidental visit to Renee's apartment, Paloma discovers a book on psychology. Captivated by her unique lifestyle, Paloma abandons her destructive plans. Renee, once seen as coarse and ordinary, is revealed as wise, kind, and intelligent. In her tranquil corner, she finds solace and peace, dancing gracefully with loneliness. As described in the poem The Solitary Flower, she blooms not for others to see but simply to marvel at herself. As Søren Kierkegaard said, "It is only in solitude that one truly becomes oneself." Loneliness, like the tide, washes away life's chaos, leaving us to see our truest selves. By embracing it, we find confidence and live authentically. In the novel's final pages, Renee dies one ordinary morning, saving a homeless man from an oncoming car. Her quiet departure leaves no grand ceremony, yet her graceful legacy lingers. She teaches Paloma to confront life with newfound resolve. As the author writes, "We are all lonely hedgehogs. Only by resonating at the same frequency can we glimpse the nameless elegance within one another. When loneliness engulfs us, we may panic and bristle defensively. But by accepting our solitude and living authentically, we find freedom and transform loneliness into salvation." Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with someone who might need it. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more weekly content. See you in the next video.